I'm starting to think that maybe I'm the problem because everyone around me has a freaking boyfriend who treats them incredible and is super nice to them, and I, for some reason, can't get a boyfriend, and they all don't want to commit to me, and they just want to use. I feel so unlovable. Is it just me? Or is it everyone? I don't know, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind! God damn, I feel so unlovable. I can't do this. Everyone around me is gonna come. I feel like I'm third wheeling all the time. Am I the only one? Okay.
The good news is that she's not the only one, but the bad news is that she is also not the only one. Modern women live their lives with such recklessness that they emotionally broke themselves, they let their attitudes become insufferable, and they let their terrible decisions do the talking. They accumulated bodies and emotional damage, and it leaves them quite literally unlovable even to themselves. Men don't want to be with women like this because they are so damaged that there is no fixing them. And the fact that she's breaking down in her car to complain about this also proves that even if she were to find a guy, she would air out their dirty laundry every chance that she could get. This is the choice that she made with her life, and now she has to live with it. Yo, what is going on, guys? Got some video clips for you here today of modern women basically getting frustrated that men are no longer chasing them. Now, these were sent to me by Hadan, the mummy, so let's just jump right into some of this nonsense.
The real reason that club culture is failing is because they've priced out all of the hot guys from the club. In all of the clubs, it's all about bottle service and it's all about tables. Girl, and you want to go out and you want to dance with your friends and you want to kiss a hot boy, there is no hot guys in the club. Girls want to be where the hot guys are. Hot guys are in a dive bar, they're in a regular bar, they're not in a club spending $1,000 on a $30 bottle of Casamigos. In order to save the clubs, we must start letting the hot guys in again.
So I don't know about the clubbing scene in her location, but personally, I don't feel like it's so much that hot guys are not being let into certain clubs. I think it's more that since dating apps have kind of come into play, a lot of hot guys can kind of just rely on dating apps and don't really have to go out into the club scene, especially because of inflation now and because a lot more things are expensive. And so if you're a hot guy and you can kind of pull up a dating app and get 50 matches, 100 matches in a day, then that's going to be a better proposition and being able to spend less money than trying to go out to a club to only, even have a shot at potentially talking to a woman.
It's not just because Chad has his pick of the litter when it comes to women on dating apps. It also has a lot to do with the attitude of modern women. They go online and pretty much tell men that in order to get a woman's attention, it's his duty as a man to buy her drinks and buy her things. And when you consider that a lot of these women have become so insufferable that buying them drinks sounds unappealing, you can't blame dudes for not wanting to go to clubs. And this notion that clubs aren't letting attractive guys in is just absurd. Men were the ones keeping the clubs operating because they're the ones spending the money. But when you're paying a lot of money to be surrounded by average-looking entitled women, then there comes a point where it's just a waste of time and money. This is why clubs are just losing business. Clubs had to change their business model to incentivize men to come in. Free drinks, discount drinks, partying on stage, all of those quote-unquote perks that modern women got to enjoy for years are now being given to men because the women who go to clubs refuse to purchase anything. But even then, men still aren't that interested. The music is too loud, the drinks are overpriced, and the only types of women who go to clubs are just not worth knowing in the first place.
So I think it does make sense that you're not going to see a lot of the hotter guys in like the more high-end clubs because the people who are going to be there have money. And on a balance of probabilities, the older guys are going to have more money. And I do think a lot of times the women who kind of go into those scenes tend to like older men more, or at least they kind of want to go to that scene knowing that they're going to be mainly surrounded by older men because, like I said, in higher end clubs, that's going to be who mainly has the money. But yeah, it makes complete sense that a hotter guy would be at like a dive bar or somewhere less expensive because a lot of people equate hotter to being younger, especially if, the woman is younger. And so younger guys are not going to have like as much money. And so it makes more sense that they would want to be at a dive bar or somewhere way less expensive. Maybe they're watching sports or something like that. And if a woman kind of comes up to them, they would entertain it, but that's not their like main objective. I also think that if you're a hot guy and you kind of go to a more like hole in the wall bar, a lot of times there might be a few like really attractive women there. And a lot of them are going to like hyper focus on you because you're going to be like the cream of the crop in that area.
It's interesting how she doesn't mention how that guy might just prefer the atmosphere of a dive bar as opposed to a club. There isn't loud techno music being blasted in his face. There will be tables for him to sit. and just a place where he can have a few drinks with his buddies. But the hyperfixation on that guy going to dive bars to pick up women doesn't make that much sense. That might be a reason for some men, but the idea of a guy going to a bar to enjoy himself isn't seeming to be a factor here, which is weird because modern women have it in their heads that the only reason why men go out is to look at modern women.
Whereas a hot guy, if he goes to another environment that might be like very crowded, that's a lot more competition there. And so I personally have known like more hot guys who kind of actually prefer more like chill places where women will go up to them, they'll talk to them. Some of the women are more like down to earth and will actually approach them instead of these like club scenes where the women are kind of expecting to be pursued and bought drinks for and sort of like courted in that way. But I do think that if you're a woman and you want to, make out with a really hot guy, fire up a dating app. I mean, there are plenty of hot guys on dating apps, and if you're just looking for something casual, that would be my best recommendation for you. But I think that, going to a high-end club, I just don't think it probably is going to work most of the time now because, really hot guys, they just have a lot more options than having to go into those environments where everything is just so much more expensive now. But that is my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.
It's a harsh truth. The types of men that modern women want have significantly more options, and even if these women go on dating applications, that's not going to work out as well as they think. Those types of men have women practically throwing themselves at him, and he gets to choose who gets to spend time with him. And a lot of these women aren't worth it anymore. They made dumb decisions, and they just expected the men they find desirable to want to desire them in return, but that's not how it works for men like that. But what's really funny is how telling modern women to download a dating app to try and get with an attractive man is not really great advice. Most of those women are already on the apps anyway and getting rejected regularly by those very same men, so it's really just a fool's errand at the end of the day.
I was speaking to my mum about dating, and because I'm out a lot for work and things like that, and I love to socialize, she was like, have you met anyone out? And I'm like, well, I will see a guy that, say, I've texted or, met online or have mutuals with, and he will, look at me and then turn away and then message saying, hey, you looked gorgeous today. And that's, a universal experience for every girl. Guys will just text you later on. And Mum's like, what the fuck? Mum's like, when I would go out, if a guy was interested, he'd straight up go, hey, I'm interested in you, whatever, what's your number? And if you liked him, you'd give him your real one. If you didn't, you'd change one digit. That's what she said to me. My mum did make a point that I go for socially awkward private school boys that don't know how to talk to girls because they went to single-sex schools, so that's a big factor too.
The older generation is going to struggle to understand the modern dating market. Modern women made it their mission to tell men to never approach them unless they met a very specific set of impossible standards, which means that the only men that were eligible were dudes like Chad and Tyrone, and average men listened. We didn't have much choice. It was either stay away from these women or risk getting put on blast, publicly humiliated, or worse, but now they're complaining that nobody is talking to them. But that's because modern women took away every good reason why a man should talk to them in the first place.
But I took it upon myself to call my guy friend and literally ask for the answers. I'm like, just tell me, what is stopping guys from just, approaching girls naturally and not, sleazy, just, literally for a conversation. Because guys that, do that, reap the benefits anyway. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to be a sleaze to, pull a girl in the first place. My guy friend said, unless a girl is, making it that obvious, at a pub, for example, that she's into him, he's she has to fully be, waving at me for me to think to go over. And he said that rejection just isn't worth it these days because that girls, have higher standards of men. So guys genuinely feel like they just aren't good enough and to go up and introduce themselves. And I'm like, that's actually kind of sad because I do feel like girls are getting judgier, but I also feel like boys are the same. And I think it goes down to dating apps and social media, obviously.
It's true that dating apps and social media have ruined entire generations of women. That's not the real issue here. Men are not afraid of being rejected by these women. It's the fact that these women made it clear that they would go scorched earth on any man who bothered them. So modern women had to make it obvious that she wanted to talk to a guy.
But dating apps is shopping. No, yes, no. So it's people are getting pickier. But yeah, it's people don't know how to socialize anymore, and it's really sad. I saw on TikTok a card game that someone invented called We Met at a Bar. I don't know if you've seen it, but it actually looks like a cool idea, and they should collab with different pubs in Melbourne and just like have the card game sitting at like different tables or something. I feel like that'd be so good. Pretty much, I think it was like they had like different not dares, but like, oh, I don't know, you have to look it up, but it's called We Met at a Bar, and like it introduces conversation, like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just feel like there's got to be a way to just like improve everything about the dating culture, otherwise we're doomed.
It is going to take a lot more than a gimmicky card game to get men interested in talking to women at bars. In fact, what it's going to take is pretty much impossible at this point. Modern women spent 20 years completely destroying something that people have been doing for thousands of years. The trust between men and women has been shattered thanks to their terrible attitudes, and because of this, men know better than to approach women because it's impossible to tell which ones are genuine and the others who are clearly just ran through, and you can't fix that with a card game. The stakes are too high, and it's honestly best to assume that most of the time it is going to be a terrible outcome for men. But anyway, guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Click this video that's up on the screen now if you want to see more. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.